Content Locker by MyThemeShop is the best WordPress plugin for systematically adding viral traffic to your website, your opt-in funnel, or your sales page. With the plugin, you can hide a piece of valuable content on your website and ask the user to like or share. In other words, pay with a like or pay with a tweet in order to get instant access to your content. Every blogger and internet entrepreneur knows how difficult it is to get fans and followers, especially for new sites on a low budget. And Content Locker by MyThemeShop is going to help you grow your audience at no cost to you. What's more, there are also SEO benefits, as Google takes into account over 200 factors when considering how to rank websites, and one of those is social media. The number of social shares that a post or page on your site has is one of the most important factors in the search algorithm, has a significant influence on how your site ranks in search results. So Content Locker by MyThemeShop is going to help your site rank even higher in search engines. The plugin is also incredibly easy to use for your visitors. Let me show you here how easy it is to use the social and sign-in locker examples. Here you'll see the content selected here behind this locker is locked until the user tweets, Facebook likes, or Google Plus ones the content. Here I'll Facebook like, and right away the content is going to be unlocked. This allows me to hide special content behind the locker whilst getting more social shares for my site. Let me also show you how easy it is to set up a social locker. You can choose between the services, so Twitter, Facebook like, and Google Plus, and with these you can set a number of parameters such as the URL to tweet, the contents of the tweet, the Twitter username of your site, and also the button title. And it's similar for Facebook, where you can choose the URL to like, and Google Plus, where you can add the URL to +1. You can also choose some general settings where you can customize the message and layout, as well as have options for visibility and advanced options that let you have full control of the social locker. Let's have a look then at the sign-in locker example as well. With this one, the content is going to be locked until the user signs in via Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, or via email. With all of these, this is going to allow you to optionally collect the email address of the user. So let me show you how easy it is to sign in via Twitter, for example. Here, I'll be asked to authorize the Twitter app, and I'll be taken back to the page, and the content is going to be unlocked. My email address is then saved, and you can use that to contact in your email list later on. The sign-in locker is also incredibly easy to use. Here you can choose between a Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, and email sign-in, and you also have options for all of these, including whether to save the email and the email list to use, whether to create an account on your site, and also some advanced options. It's similar for Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and you can also just straight up collect an email address without using a social network. You then also have general, visibility, and advanced options available similar to the social locker. Using either of these lockers in a post or page is very easy as well. Here you just need to wrap the content that you want to lock with the shortcode from the plugin, which you can access from this drop down here. So here we've got the social locker, and then we've got the sign-in locker as well, and that's all you need to use in order to put these in action on your site. If you want to try the plugin for yourself, then just click on this demo link in order to find a working demo of the plugin. Let's get started then by installing the plugin. First, you want to head to your WordPress dashboard and then go to plugins and then add new. You can do a search for Content Locker, hit return. Then you want to find the MyThemeShop Content Locker. Press install now, and then once that's installed, you want to activate the plugin. So just press activate, and WordPress is going to activate the plugin onto your site. With the plugin installed, you're going to find the options for Content Locker under Content Locker and then settings. And here there are a number of things we need to set up in order to make sure that the Content Locker is working correctly. Most of these involve connecting your site to the social networks' relevant APIs. This is only going to take a moment, but it is important to do this, otherwise you're not going to be able to add the Content Locker functionality. First, you can choose a language. Here you can just select the language you want your buttons to display in. Next, you can choose whether to have lazy loading on. If this is on, then this is going to create social buttons that only display when you scroll onto that part of the screen. Now, the benefit of this is you have faster initial loading times. So if the content locker is at the bottom of the page here, when I load the top of the page, as I would if I was clicking onto a post or page, I'm only going to need to load what's displaying here. And as I scroll down, then the content locker can load. This results in faster initial load times, but you may have to wait whilst that loads when you scroll down. So it's up to you whether you want that on or not, but that is going to result in better performance. Next, we need to connect the plugin to a Facebook app ID. So the Facebook sign-in button requires a Facebook app ID, and in order to add one of these, you need to create an app for your website. You can do this by going to developers.facebook.com, and you want to press Create App. You now want to add in a display name, so I'll go for Content Locker here. You want your contact email address and then a category. Here I'll just select this as a utility. You want to press Create App ID and then just enter the captcha code. This is just a security measure. So you can wait for that to load. And then you now want to go to Settings. Under App Domains, you want to add in your website, both with and without www. So I'll just enter mythemeshop.com and www.mythemeshop.com here. You then want to go to Add Platform and then select Website. Enter the URL of your site, so mythemeshop.com, and then hit Enter in order to save those changes. You now want to go to App Review, and under here, you can see you can select the app to public. You want to do that and then confirm. And you now want to head back to the dashboard and you want to find your app ID. So app ID here, and then copy that, and then we can paste it onto the settings page. You can also choose the Facebook API version to use. You'll want to leave this at the default of version 2.6, which is the most recent version, but if buttons or widgets don't load on your website, then you can try switching to older versions. Next then, you want to add in a Twitter sign-in button. The Twitter sign-in button for the Content Locker requires a Twitter app, so you're going to need to create one of these. So you can do this by going to apps.twitter.com and then create a new app. You need to enter a couple of details in here. So we need the application name. This is used to attribute the source of any tweets created by the Content Locker. So users will be able to see this. So you want to have your website name here, so it's easily discernible where the tweet has come from. The application description is going to be shown to users when requiring authorization. So we'd recommend typing something such as, "This application asks your credentials in order to unlock the content." Your website is just your website URL. So just type that in there. And then the callback URL. So this is where users are going to be taken after authentication. You can find this easily by heading to How to Use. You then want to go to Creating Social Apps and then Creating Twitter App. And then scroll down here and find the callback URL. Just copy and paste that onto the application. You want to read and agree to the developer agreement and then create your Twitter application. Once that's done, you just need to head to Settings. And here we need to make sure you've ticked Allow this application to be used for sign in with Twitter. You can change the icon if you like, and finally update those settings. Now you want to head to Permissions and make sure that you've got Read and Write Access ticked, and then update those settings as well. And then finally, you just need to grab the key and access token. So you want to copy and paste the consumer key, paste that into the theme options, and then the consumer secret, and then paste those in as well. Next up then, you can add in a Google sign-in button. This requires a Google Client ID. In order to do this, you want to head to console.developers.google.com. You then want to create a new project. Project name should be your website name, so I'll go for MyThemeShop. It's going to automatically generate a project ID, and you can create. You'll need to wait whilst the new project is created, and after that, it'll automatically be redirected to the project dashboard. We now want to search for Google Plus and find the Google Plus API. Click on this. And we want to enable. It's going to enable us to connect to Google Plus. And next we want to head back to library and then now do a search for YouTube. We now want the YouTube data API. So we'll click on that. And then again, just enable here. Next, we need to head to credentials once that's loaded up. And we want to create credentials. And this one, we want an OAuth client ID. We're going to configure consent screen. And we want to add in the product name shown to users. So here we'll add MyThemeShop. The homepage URL is going to be http or https mythemeshop.com. Optionally, you can add in a product logo. This wants to be a 120 by 120 size. I'm just going to skip this for now. You're going to need a privacy policy and terms of service URL, and the plugin actually generates one of these for you. You can paste this in, so it just needs to be yoursite.com/?MTS_content locker equals privacy-policy, and then the same thing, just with terms of service. You can save those changes. And now once again, you want to create credentials, OAuth client ID. This time we can add in a web application. So you want to add in the name. So I'll just go for MyThemeShop. And then the authorized JavaScript origins want to be the URL of your site. Press enter, and then you also want to add in the same thing, but with W's in there as well. So mythemeshop.com. You now want to add your authorized redirect URL. To find what this should be, you need to head back to the Content Locker How to Use section, creating social apps, and then get Google Client ID. Scroll down here, and you're going to find authorized redirect URLs. Copy and paste that onto the Google settings. You can press create, and now you can copy your client ID and then paste into the settings. Next up then, we can create a LinkedIn sign-in button. And for this one, you're going to need to create a LinkedIn app. You can make one of these at linkedin.com/secure/developer. And here you want to create application. You can add in your company name, as well as the name of your application. So I'll just call this Content Locker. We want to add in a description, so Content Locker WordPress plugin. You can add a logo if you would like to. I'm just going to skip over this for now. You want to select an application use. Here I'll select other. You want to add in your website URL, so that'll just be mythemeshop.com. Your business email, so I'll just add mine in here. And you'll also ask for a phone number. This will not be visible to visitors. So I'll add in the MyThemeShop phone number there. Agree to the LinkedIn API terms of use and submit. Now you want to make sure that you have our basic profile and our email address ticked, and you need to add in your default accept redirect URL. You'll find this on the How to Use, Creating Social Apps and Getting LinkedIn API Key, and you can copy and paste that straight in. You want to update, and now you want to go to Settings, set the application status to live, update there, and then go to JavaScript, add in the domain where the Content Locker is going to be used, so mythemeshop.com, and then add, and then update. Now you want to go back to authentication, copy the client ID and the client secret. With all those changes made, you can save those. And that's going to set up all of the options for enabling the social sign-in buttons, and that's added all of the API keys and app IDs for the social media sites. So with that all set up, let's have a look through the other settings available with the plugin. Lock options gives you options to customize the locking features. This is available as part of the Pro version of the plugin, which is available by following this link to MyThemeShop. The subscription options allow you to control how you save the emails of your subscribers. This is a powerful feature as it allows you to capture these email addresses straight into your newsletter service of choice. First, you can set a default list to use, either the database or any newsletter services that you add in here. You can add in a list name that's for internal use only, so I might just call this Content Locker Newsletter. And then you can choose between two mailing services, MailChimp and MailerLite. If you want to get the Pro version of the plugin, this is also going to allow you to use Aweber. So with MailChimp, adding an API key is very easy to do. You follow this link, you'll find details on how to generate an API key. So you just need to head to your profile, account, and then API keys, and then create a new API key. You want to copy and paste this in here, and once you're done, you can select between any of the lists you've created on MailChimp. It's a very similar process for MailerLite as well. You'll find instructions there. You can add multiple lists here just by pressing Add List in order to add either multiple lists from the same service or add multiple services. You can save those changes, and once that's done, you can choose the default, whether that's the default list or your Content Locker list. Batch locking allows you to apply a single locker to post automatically. This is also available with the Pro version of the plugin. You also have stats options here. First, you have Google Analytics, and if this is set to on, then the plugin is going to automatically generate events for Google Analytics when the content is unlocked. In order to use this, obviously you will need to have Google Analytics tracking installed on your website. You can also choose whether to collect statistics. This will control whether the plugin automatically collects statistical data for reports, but note that detailed stats reports is available in the Pro version of the plugin. If you want to clear your data, you can also do so here. You can also customize all of the front-end text used for the Content Locker plugin. You can change the primary front-end text for the settings of that particular locker, but here you're going to find options for the global text. So for example, you have the text which will appear in the sign-in buttons, so saying sign in via the name of the service or via name of the service. You can customize all of this. You've got some miscellaneous text, so that's associated with all content lockers. You've got the screen to show up if there's one more step to complete. This shows up if a social network does not return an email address and the locker asks for the user to enter it manually. And you've also got errors and notices. So you can customize all of those. It's just a case of going into the text field and setting what you want. Obviously, save those changes once you're finished. Finally here, we can have a look at the terms of use and privacy policies. You remember that we mentioned these earlier. Primarily, you can choose whether to turn these on or off. And if they're off, obviously they're not going to show, so you'll want to have these on if you're using them. You can choose whether to have these terms and policies display on existing WordPress pages. So that'll be pages you've created under Pages and then add new. If this is on, then you can choose to apply your terms of use page to any WordPress page that you've already created. So you might want to create a new terms of use page. So go to Pages, add a new page, terms of use, and same for privacy policy, and you can select this there, and then the plugin will know which those are. If you have this off, then you can just use this text in order to customize what displays, and the plugin is going to generate the URLs for this automatically. So make any of the changes that you want and then save the changes. With those options set up, you're ready to head to all lockers, and then you can add new social lockers or sign-in lockers. You'll find social lockers here, and we can get started making a social locker. Now what this is going to do is allow you to use a series of shortcodes in order to lock specific content on a WordPress post or page, and then require that it is locked until the user shares it on one of these social networks. And we can get started right away making your social lockers. Now, what these do is use the Content Locker plugin in order to lock specific content until a specific action is taken by your readers. So for example, that might be wrapping specific bits of content in a post or a page with this shortcode, and then requiring either sharing or following on one of these social networks for the content to be unlocked. This of course allows you to generate a lot more social shares and social follows than you would be able to otherwise. This is very easy to use, and I'm going to walk you through all of the steps required here. So first, we'll enter a title. I'm going to show you all of the different options available, so I'll just call this Social Locker for now. We can start by choosing how to lock the content, and we'll run through all of these options available here. You can start by choosing whether to show counters or not. This will show if on how many people have shared the post in order to unlock the social locker. Next then, we can run through all of these different options, and you can in fact drag and drop in order to change how these display. So first up we have Facebook, and you can see we can choose whether to have this on or off. So this Facebook-like locker is going to lock the content until the user has liked a specific Facebook page. So you'll want to add in the URL of your Facebook page. So I'll go for MyThemeShop. If you don't want to share a Facebook page, you can leave this field empty in order to use the URL of the page where the locker is going to be located as the URL to like. You can also optionally choose a title. So like, for example, would be appropriate for this one. Next up, we've got locking the content until it's tweeted. You can choose whether this is on or off and the URL to tweet. So you could enter either perhaps the homepage of your website, or if you leave this blank, then that's going to use the URL of the page where the locker is going to be located as well. So if you wanted users to share that post or page, then you could just leave this blank and that will do that. You can optionally populate the content of the tweet, and this might encourage users to actually follow through with the tweeting action. You can use the shortcode post_title here in order to generate the post title in the tweet. So you might want to add in something like loved this post title, and then that will insert that there. Alternatively, if you leave this blank, it's going to automatically display the page title and then the URL. If you want to attribute your tweet, then you might want to add in your Twitter username. So I could add in MyThemeShop team here. Note this needs to be without the @ Finally, you can choose the button title, so obviously tweet is an appropriate one there. With Google+, again, you can choose whether this is on or off and the URL to +1. Again, if you leave this blank, this will be the same URL as the page where the locker is located, but you can also enter a specific URL in there. You can also choose the button title, so +1 us, for example. Facebook share, requiring a follow, Google+ share, YouTube and LinkedIn shares are all available in the Pro version of the plugin only. So make sure you set those up how you want them, and of course, as I mentioned, drag and drop if you want to change the order. If you don't want all of them on, then just turn those off. Let's have a look now at the general settings. This is what's going to display when the content is locked. You can choose a title. You want to add a locker box title which attracts attention. You can leave this empty, but because you're wanting to encourage users to share your content, you're going to want to add in an exciting title there. You can then enter the locker message. This is going to display below the title. And you can see we've populated by default, but to say, please support us, use one of the buttons below to unlock the content. So you want to make it clear to users that they want to share your content in order to unlock it. You've got the standard WordPress editor here, so you can customize how the text is displaying and add any media if you'd like to. The free version of the plugin comes with the flat theme, but if you use the Pro version, you're going to get extra themes available. You can choose the button layout. The horizontal version is available in the free version, and if you have the Pro version, you also get vertical. Finally, you've got the overlap mode, so you can choose how your locker should lock the content. Extra overlap modes are available in the Pro version, so right now you have the full or classic version as well. You can also set the visibility. This will control how the locker is going to display. You might want to, for example, hide the locker for logged in users. So if this is off, then logged in users are still going to see the locked content, but if you have this on, then people who are logged in, perhaps members of your site or members of your admin team, are going to not see the locker. So I'll turn this off for now. You can also choose whether to lock the post after a certain period. This is available in the Pro version of the plugin. You can choose whether to display the locker on mobile devices. You can show whether to unlock the content always. So even if the locker was unlocked before, it will appear again on page reload if you have that on. And you can also choose whether to lock the post again after a specific interval. This is available in the Pro version as well. If we head to the advanced options, we're going to see whether we want to have a close icon in the corner. We want to highlight the content upon unlock. And you can also set a timer interval that will unlock the locker after a specified time. This is available in the Pro version as well. So once I've completed and set up those settings how I want them, I can publish this, and that's going to push that onto my site. I can now use the social locker I've just created by adding one of these shortcodes. You can either copy the shortcode here, or if you head to a WordPress post or page, so I'll just choose one of these here. Then you're also going to have this content locker button here, and you can access your social lockers you've created just here. So let's select a bit of this content to lock. We'll display perhaps the introduction, and then let's lock the rest of the post, but keep the closing paragraph. I can do that by selecting, going to the content locker, selecting the social locker I've just created, and pressing OK. That's going to wrap the content I've added with my social locker. So everything appearing between these two, between the opening and closing shortcode, is going to be locked. Let's have a look at what this looks like on my site. So we've got the post loading up here. If we scroll down, we're going to see that we've got the introduction, and then the section of the post that we selected to be locked is now locked. And the text that we set in the settings displays instead. So it says this content is locked, and then says please support us, use one of the buttons below to unlock the content. Users can now either tweet, Facebook like, or post Google+. So I'll show you how each of these works. If we tweet this, then it's going to populate the tweet with the settings that we had, and users can now post this to Twitter. The tweet will be posted, and if we head back to the site, we're going to see that the content locker disappears and the content displays. If I refresh this page, we'll see the content locker comes back. And I'll show you what this looks like on Facebook. So you can press to like this, and then the content locker is going to disappear. And finally, if we refresh it once more to relock the content, then we are going to have the Google+ one. So we can +1 this. You can share this. And then the content locker is going to unlock the post. So we'll see the locker displays there. So that's how you use the content locker. And we can see that with this design, we also have the option for users to close this without sharing by pressing that X there. But you can, of course, turn that off in the settings. The sign-in locker is similar to the social locker in that content is locked until a user takes an action. Except for this one, it's going to allow you to grab a visitor's email ID and their name as well. And you can do this by asking visitors to log in via Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, or just straight up provide their email address. In order to use this, you'll need to have set up the APIs that we used in the settings earlier. So once you've done that, we can get going. The setup here is very simple. First, you just select the social networks and subscription form to be available to sign in. For each social network, you select the actions that have to be performed. Then we just need to configure the selected services. So I'll just call this one the sign in locker. And we can have a look again at the different options. You can choose whether a button is on or off. So here we've got Facebook on. Choose whether the email is to be saved, and then the list to use. So remember, we set up the email list in the settings. So if you need to amend this, then you can do that there. We can choose the email list. And as you'll remember, you could either set that up with MailChimp or MailerLite, but you can also see the emails of users who've already signed up using the sign-in locker, or just export these to a CSV format. You can choose to create an account for the user on your website. So if you have this on, that's going to do that. You can customize the user role that users are given by heading to this page on the web. So we'll see right now it's set to subscriber. You'll probably want to make sure it's set to subscriber so that users can't edit any of your content and so on. And by default, users are going to receive the standard WordPress welcome message. If you want to change that, then you can install a welcome email plugin, one of these, which will allow you to customize that. If you don't want to have that on, you can just turn that off there. Twitter, here you can customize the Twitter button, turn that on or off, and choose whether to save the email as well. Again, you can choose the default email list and see the emails or export them. Again, you can choose whether to create an account, whether this is on or off, and you've got the same options available there. You can also choose with the Twitter options whether a user will follow you after clicking the sign in button and the user to follow. You want to enter this without the @ again, so that's just MyThemeShop team. You can choose whether the follower will get notifications about new tweets, usually via SMS. You could do this, but it's likely to annoy your followers. You can also choose whether to send a specific tweet on behalf of the user after signing in. So you can type in the content here, and this can include a URL. So for example, I would say the content locker plugin at mythemeshop.com. You can enter the content there, so it just can be anything that you like. With Google+, you again can choose whether to save the email, which email list to use, also whether it's on or off, the emails and whether to export them, whether you're creating a new account, and you can also subscribe users to a specific YouTube channel. If you have this on, then you need to set the channel ID for where they should subscribe to, and you can get the ID here. If you follow this link here, this will take you to a page on YouTube where you can find your channel ID, and you just need to paste that in there. With LinkedIn, it's a similar affair, so you can turn this on or off, choose whether to save the email list, see the emails, and whether to create an account. Finally, you can offer users the option just to sign up by email. So this doesn't require a social network, but it will allow them to log in by email. Standard options here, so on or off, save the email list, see the users, and also choose whether users should have an account created. If we head to the next tab, we can see some other options for customizing the sign-in locker. You can choose the title and the text. So here we're saying sign in to unlock this content, and then you're telling the users what is here. You can choose the theme. So the flat theme is available in the free version, but extra themes are available in the pro version. You can also choose the overlap mode. So this is full, which is the classic. That's available in the free version. Other overlap modes are available in the pro version. So you can set these options how you want. It's important to make sure this is enticing so that users are prepared to offer their email address. You've got some similar visibility options. So choose whether this is hidden for logged in users, lock after a certain period of time, whether this should appear on mobile devices, always show the locker even if it was unlocked before, and whether to relock after a specific interval. These two options are available in the pro version only. Finally, you can choose whether to have a close icon, so whether users can get rid of the sign-in locker, whether to highlight to unlock, and in the pro version, a timer interval is available as well. So let's publish this once you're done, and we can now, similar to the sign-in locker, either copy the shortcode here or use the same buttons in order to add that in post. So here I've loaded up a WordPress post, and as before, I can now select the text that I'd like to have locked. So we'll go for the same thing here. Just leave the introduction and the conclusion. We're going to lock the rest. I'm going to go to Content Locker and then Sign In Lockers, and then choose one of the sign in lockers I've just created. If we now have a look on my site, we're going to see this displays with the Sign In Locker. You'll see users are invited to sign in to unlock this content, and this uses the same text that we set in the settings. You'll note we've also got links to our terms of use and privacy policy, and users can now sign in via Facebook, Twitter, Google, LinkedIn, or via email. And each of these is going to save the email address for you. I'll show you how each of these works. So sign in via Facebook is going to tell you that Content Locker will receive your public profile and email address. You can continue, and the user is going to be logged in, and the content is unlocked. It's a similar process for Twitter. So we'll refresh this in order to relock the content. If we sign in via Twitter, we'll see here we're asked to authorize the app, and it tells you what is available and what the application will do. You can do that. We'll then post any tweets that you set or follow any users as you set in the settings, and the content is again unlocked. I'll show you how this works with the next option. So with Google, we can sign in. You're told the app will see your email address. You can allow this. It takes you back to the page and the content is unlocked. The next one is going to allow you to sign in via LinkedIn. So we can click this, take us through to linkedin.com. I'll be asked to authorize this. We'll be taken back to the site and the content is unlocked. Finally then, we've got the email address. If users can't sign in via social networks, they can enter their email address here. And this is going to add that to the email list as we set in the settings. So you'll sign in to unlock and the content is going to be unlocked. So now if we head back to the WordPress dashboard and head to our Content Locker leads, we're going to see that we've got the details of the leads we have collected. So we've got the email address here and when that was added and this status. So that's how you can make sure you're collecting email addresses using the Content Locker plugin. So that concludes our look around the Content Locker plugin. We've shown you fully how to set up both the APIs, the social locker, and the content locker to use with the plugin. If you have any further queries, then head over to community.mythemeshop.com. Otherwise, I hope this video has been helpful and thank you very much for watching.